The program is Insights on Splash 105.5 FM. This is the Integrity Station. I'm Oluwaseun Akinola, and I'm welcoming you very specially to this edition. This edition has taken us to the Ivory Tower in Osun State, Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife. And it's my pleasure to welcome Professor of Applied Mathematics, and is someone who has been the conscience of the academia in recent times. Prof.Adegbola Peter Akinola, a professor of applied mathematics of Awolowo University. How are you, sir?
It's a pleasure meeting with you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Yes, also I thank you for the opportunity to interact with your establishment.
Professor Akinola, education is sacrosanct to development.
Yes,
Do you agree?
Of course, no gainsaying about it, because no nation grows beyond its educational standards.
What do you mean?
Yes, because education is the bedrock of development, of growth, of anybody. You cannot become anything without being properly educated. And it's not fortuitous that our founding fathers, in the days of the action group, the Obafemi Awolowo and his team, devoted about 50% of the region's budget to education. And we can see, in spite of all that has happened to Nigeria, all these years, Southwest still has some, modicum of what we call, would I say development?
You are struggling to call it development.
Yes.
Because it is not significant.
You see, it has reduced. You can't even almost see the trace. Those were the days. You have radio fusion in every village of Southwest. You have Cocoa House, first multi-story building, I think in not just West Africa, I think in Africa. First radio and television station. First stadium. You see, is that educational takeoff that is given the push to all this avenue of development.
We had television here in the southwest of Nigeria 25 years before South Africa had one.
Yes.
But we do not lack eggheads like you.
We didn't. Before the Awolowo did anything, they go to the Ivory Tower, then University of Ibadan, and later University of Ife, to vigorously discuss issues. And you could see that this board, what we refer to, the institution we refer to as IAR&T, then to drive the agricultural development, then, which puts Southwest or Western region at the edge of other regions in the country, then that Western region was paying, was having minimum wage higher than even the federal. Then it was the agricultural based, okay, and to midwife this, to give the extension services, the IR&T was created. And it was providing all this drive.
Isn't it because I'm looking at where we lost it? You just said now that the politicians will come to the Ivory Tower and to have robust discussion about policies, about developmental policies and how they can drive those policies. And you made mention of IR&T. It's not dead, it's still there, but it doesn't seem to be living. I'm looking at where we lost it. Is it because eggheads today, they're now politicians?
No, it was the politicization of everything, the struggle between the regions, then to have upper hand, and then the the advent, the incursion of the military into the political sphere mutilated this arrangement for formulating, for modulating, and then implementing some of these policies that drive the development, that should have, driven the development.
There is no government, even from President Obasanjo to Yar'Adua to Goodluck Jonathan, now to what we have right now. You will always find in the cabinet professors. You will find in the cabinet people who have spent years to be.
Then you first of all need to interrogate the mode of recruitment of these professors into that sphere.
Are they political professors?
Well, it's for you to classify them, because they are not going to come to the university and say, oh, maybe the academic staff union, who and who amongst you could assist us in so area. You know?
So they don't consult you, that's what you're saying?
No, it's not true consultation. It's, just on face value of the individual that probably had hobnobbed with them along the line, that and then they get these people recruited.
But it seems that you isolate yourself from the developmental process.
No. You see, this is how it comes.
How?
This is how it comes. You see, a government should have a framework and know the direction it is going. It is from there it will make efforts to engage people in the ivory tower. For an instance, a key policy to development is to ensure that a vibrant research and development policy and program exists. And in countries where this exists, it's going to midwife interaction between industry and ivory tower. Okay? To the extent that in some of these countries, there will be tax rebate incentive for companies that engage the ivory tower in their research and developmental process. And what is more, of course, the existence of industrial production, of course, ensures that this takes place, because in the process of production, there will be industrial problem. And since companies we have to go to the market, they will compete, then there is need to think of the profit margin. If the quality of your product does not measure up, then you are not going to likely have good edge in terms of profit making and profit return. Hence, you will want to do everything to ensure that the quality of your product beats other in the industry. Hence, you make efforts to improve on your product. And since the universities, polytechnics are those bodies that have the tradition of brainstorming on problems, then those companies will have to come and they give you this. This is what we do. This is what our challenges, and then this is how we have been doing it. And then the people in the ivory tower will look at it, examine it, rub mind vigorously, and as a result, they come up with possible solution.
This brilliant synergy that should happen between the manufacturing sector and the ivory tower is non-existent.
It's not existence for two reasons. Two main reasons. Even the little industry that we used to have collapsed. The second reason is that because of lack of concentration on the government, from the side of the government, that policy that encourages interaction, that means deliberate effort to ensure there's synergy between the industry and ivory tower was not there, was not formulated. It was only during the Awolowo era that you see that trace, because even before they formulate policies, they ensure that vigorous interaction with people in the ivory tower took place.
So how can we engender this nexus between the ivory tower and our manufacturing sector? And how can government help? How can you help the government?
The one is for the government to legislate, to have a legislation that will make it mandatory, with incentive, like tax rebate, for companies to have research and development which will interact with universities and allied institutions
And research institutes.
such that the percentage of profit that comes from there, you will get a rebate. You get a rebate, and if you fulfill so percentage of such, that is, if you spend XY percentage of the profit on research and development, and Y percentage of that X is devoted to research and development that involve collaboration with local institutions, then you get a tax rebate of so percentage.
I want to pursue this nexus a little bit more. If you look at it today, I'm concerned about the fact that we have university graduates who did applied chemistry, who did applied physics, those who are in different industrial-based, courses, technological courses. Some of them, when they are out of the university, as a product from the university, they do not fit into the marketplace. It's difficult for them to be absorbed in the marketplace. Sometimes they will have to take them through certain trainings before the industry will even take them. What is wrong?
It's because there's a breakdown. In the sense that generally the platform for development has not been properly articulated by government in a patriotic way. Formulation, implementation in a patriotic way is non-existent.
What do you mean in a patriotic way?
Yes. You and I have been inundated with news on this primitive looting of the treasury that had been going on.
Primitive looting?
Yes, primitive looting. Otherwise, how many years after independence we cannot guarantee electricity, which will make industrial production to be possible, at best less costly. If the money that's are being looted exists, there will be job, in the sense that the companies will not have problem with respect to cost of production, going to buy diesel and running their companies on diesel base, which at the end of the year the overhead is so prohibitive that it becomes unprofitable. So if the basic platform had been there, this is how it works. Industry, there will be industry. Our students, they will have been undergoing industrial training courses, and they do this in some of these companies.
We see a variety.
So they will. But what does it? If how many companies are existing in Nigeria today? maybe in the ICT areas now that you have somehow, okay. The thing is that there must be industry, there must be research units.
You have emphasized that
in every of these, and this is where these students will go to do their IT, and they will have acquired the necessary familiarization with processes by the time they are coming out. So when they come out and they are employed, they only need minimal training necessary, specific to that company, to be able to begin to key in, to function properly. So it comes to having the platform. And why is it so difficult to create this platform? If the Awolowos of this world, the adjacents of this world, had created this in the Western region then.
back in the day.
Back then. Okay? There was this WhatsApp clip that came when the WNTV was being commissioned. Okay? Way back. No other country in Africa had it then. Even Britain, just few years before.
Even some countries in Europe.
Yes, even some countries in Europe hadn't it. You know? But see the conspiracy that swept the Awolowo group away. And we have never recovered since then. That's the blunt truth. We have never recovered. That's just it.
This is still Insight on Splash 105.5 FM as they have Professor Adegbola Peter Akinola in the studio with me. Prof, I want to come to the university itself, particularly Obafemiolo University. I made a statement the other time about eggheads being politicians. Are you worried about it?
Of course, one must be very worried. And of course, the root cause of this is the governments and the politicians.
How?
Because the government politicized everything. The process of appointing vice chancellor, it has become you, not just what you know or your capability, but it depends on you knowing Mr. A, who knows Mr. B, who knows the maybe NUC secretary, the minister of education, who then connects you to the president or so, and then you get in. Of course, when you get in doing all of this, it's not for free.
Now, I'm going to take you to this particular one that we're talking about. You said in an interview that the process that produced the current vice chancellor was not free, fair, and transparent.
Yes.
Are you still holding on to that?
Yes, of course. You can see our very recent experience. You will wonder, with all that Professor Tali Omole, immediate past vice chancellor, had been alleged to have done. You know, it's on the website. The report of many task forces. Okay, I mean, it is so mind-boggling. The type of revelation that are in those reports. Okay, of course, you may not immediately want to think that much had gone amiss in terms of even the quantum of money. If even an individual is being seen to have hidden some 9-point-something million US somewhere, still counting. Anyway, I mean, that's what we know. What of the ones that are unknown? So you may think that in the university setting, where how much is it that people are talking, but don't forget, like we said, education should be the key. It is educational sector that provide the way and mentor that mentors people. And if people then pick up bad examples. So then where is the model factor?
Are we doomed?
Yes, we are we are fortunate enough that with the advent of General Buhari, that is trying to de-emphasize this issue of primitive accumulation. We hope it will complement it with also fighting political corruption.
I'm taking you back here, OAU. Mm-hmm. You said there are two fundamental irregularities in this appointment. Explain to me.
Yes. What I mean is that the process for wanting to, of appointing vice chancellors, when the government allows unacademic considerations to come in, that is, people juggling around to be able to, aside from just facing an interview panel, and then the outcome, you honor it. There is also the factor of the process of appointing the chairman of governing council, that is pro-chancellors. It appears government has turned it to a thing of go and chop. So if you cannot get the chairmanship of the Port Authority, chairmanship of board of NNPC, or the membership of board of CBN, where allowances are found and whatever. So yes, you can go and manage being member of governing council of the university. And of course, if you come under such mentality, it's only enough to meet a vice chancellor that is ready to play ball, and then you say that you won't make much headway. And if corruption or corrupt process is involved, you know the implication. The implication is that you begin to produce mediocrity. You'll be promoting mediocrity, because those that are academically good, they are not likely to want to look away. They are not likely to look away, and in the process, there will be conflict. And then you will now make do with lower rate academics, and then mediocrity sets in.
Lower rate academics.
Yes, lower rate academics. Yeah, the good boys, good girls.
They are in the university.
Of course,
How did they get to the universities?
Because, however, otherwise, how will it be possible for a vice chancellor, an individual, to have its way? You then wonder, what are people looking at? Look at what is trending now in the University of Ilorin, where the wife of a vice chancellor had been alleged to have gotten an unhinged promotion. Okay, so why? In those days, you readily will find such a thing. So these are things that the government must look at. The government must not just wave such a thing aside.
The appointment of pro-chancellors or the chairman of the board of universities, you feel that they skewed in irregularities as well?
Yes. Maybe, I don't know now what the government now wants to do or is doing. Okay? Before now, largely you will see it's more of go and chop type of a thing.
Is there money there?
Ordinarily there shouldn't be, because the university, the duty of a pro-chancellor is enormous. He's supposed to be the chief supervisor to the administration in any university, and in such a situation, the pro-chancellor cannot afford to take from that university more than specified allowances. sitting allowance or whatever. But what do we see? Some of these people become contractors in the same university, either directly or by proxy. So that way, how will you be able to honestly carry out that your supervisory function for a given institution?
If you are a contractor there as well.
If you are a contractor there.
You are compromised.
Or you take some allowances that are not even meant for you in the first instance. So there's problem. Like I said, you are a supervisor. You are also to be a source of bringing funds into the institution. Okay, that should be part of your assignment. Because if you are taking this assignment with patriotism, you are virtually the number one man in that institution, and you want your institution to be number one. So you must look for all avenues to ensure that things are running well. The laboratories are well equipped, the workshops, the student hostel, they are habitable. But I don't know how many of our vice chancellors or pro chancellors in the country have that belief. Of course, there will be exemptions. There will be exceptions.
You are a unionist.
Yes.
Are you still a unionist?
Somehow, once you are likely to remain one.
You were once the chairman of the ASU here.
Yes.
And so I assume that you are a unionist.
Yes.
Is a unionist a politician?
No, it's not. It's not.
Don't you play politics?
Yes, sometimes they want to drag you into this politics. But some of us resist, don't believe.
So how can you become a chairman of ASU without playing politics?
Well, politics, chairmanship, by my own understanding of ASU, how ASU works, is you are appointed into position or you are elected into position by your antecedents.
Okay.
People come to you and say, Seun, please, we have seen the way you've conducted interviews over the period, and at this point, I think you can play so role. And it's not as Seun putting himself up and saying, yes, I want to. Let me give you an example. I'd served. I came here in 1986 and had been involved in different activities, assignments within the university and the union until 1995 that people say, yes, you should come and be a treasurer. And for a long time, I had to consider it. How will this role now weigh against my academic activities? So after much thought, well, it's part of service to the community and also to that will ensure or impact positively even on the academic activities of members. If the welfare of members are well attended to and we ensure that the administration is kept on its toes to do the needful as at when due, yes, it enhances academic performance. So I took it up. And I was there for almost ages that until I said, no, enough was enough. In 2002, as a treasurer. It's not as if, and thereafter, people had accosted me to come and be chairman. I said, no, I've put in a lot. I've put in enough until 2012. That they said, no, there was a need to do a rescue job with the situation of the union in Ife then. In fact, I was on my sabbatical in UI. I was on my leave, and along the line, I had to round it up one way or the other to come and take up the chairmanship, whatever. And it was good that I came in at that time, because by the time I came in, there was crisis in IR&T between the administration and the union. And I quickly swung into action, met the director, the VC, because the university superintend administratively IR&T. Mr. Vice Chancellor, please let us do the needful to resolve whatever it is. get into position, people started to campaign, make posters, make whatever. I mean, the leadership also felt, no, that wasn't on. So, in that circumstance, of course, I couldn't be part of anything that would contravene anything stated in that place.
Okay, now, if I even make some reference here, one of the things, particularly at that meeting, the resolution, number 2 says, there must be, number 1 said, demonstration of ideological clarity, being on the side of the people, members of our union.
Yes.
Second, it says, commitment to ASU's constitution and democratic principles.
Yes.
When you say democratic principles, you mean democracy.
Yes.
The free speech.
Yes, there will be free speech, yes.
And people can vie for positions.
Yes, people can vie.
So campaign can be part of it.
And no, the type of campaign you look at here, because ASU supposed to be a platform for service. A platform for service. And if you are going to serve, honestly, you will count the toll on you. Your time, your resources, your passion.
You know why I asked that question is I scanned through, and on number 9, it seems it conflicts with number 2. Number 9 says getting recognized as a leader rather than campaigning to be recognized as a leader.
That's what I'm saying.
The conflict that I'm trying to bring out for you is that you said that is your position about it, and that's the position of this union. But number 2 says commitment to ASU's constitution and democratic principles.
Yes, it's democratic principle.
Democracy involves
that
campaigning for election.
No. What he's saying is that you are not supposed to be getting allowances in this thing. Okay? You'll be fighting for the interest and welfare of members. And with the situation on our campuses, that you know that you will be contesting with idiosyncrasies of some of these vice chancellors. It cannot be just anybody. It must be seen antecedent, integrity, is it principle, is it transparent, is it... So these are things that ought to have been manifest by the time somebody... So when Seun says, yes, I want to be chairman, yes, and some Adegbola or Ade also says he wants to. People will say, Seun, yes, we have seen him. He has taken this role. But Akinola, where is he coming from? Oh, Adegbola, where is he coming from? What role has he played in the union? When he was in some committees before, what was his role? I mean, things like that. So that it should not be because maybe I have money to go and print some posters, I then splash it all over the place and say, yes, that is the man that does it. No, that it shouldn't be a thing like that. Okay,
let's move away from that. Are you in good terms with the current Vice Chancellor?
What do you mean by being in good terms? Yes. I'm a staff of the university.
That's where it ends.
And as the Vice Chancellor directs, if he has assignment, yes, whatever. Yes.
Okay, but you criticize his appointment.
No. Why would I criticize his appointment? The acting Vice Chancellor?
Yes.
No. It was a creation of necessity.
You think it was right?
Yes.
To have been put there the way he came into there.
Yes, very right.
Because the federal government.
Yes. I know you are trying to talk of the University Miscellaneous Act, the Autonomy Act. You don't put something on nothing. You can approbate and reprobate at the same time. The Omole group had messed up the tenets, the spirit of that Autonomy Act. So it just became utter necessity to go the direction that, yes, on all fours with government on the appointment of... and you will see, it has brought peace. onto the campus. It has brought peace. You know? So, I mean, the rule of law must be observed. And this is the type of thing I'm saying, the process of appointing a vice chancellor. You know, certain administration or vice chancellor must not show extra interest in the process beyond the institutional interests of having the right person for that position, who will add value to the foundation that the founding fathers had created. Yes, to be able to put everything in context, maybe I will advise that visit the student hostels. At the same time, go and visit a place they refer to as Golden House. That's what we call Golden House. It was purportedly built or prepared by Omonle so that he will move in after his tenure. Okay? And that house is documented over 40 or 45 million, documented, had been committed. Renovating an existing house.
40 million.
Yes, 45 million or whatever. That's documented. People will tell you that far in excess of that was committed to that. You can then put in context the worldview of such a vice chancellor. Go and benchmark with what is obtaining in the student hostels, where by the time Professor Oluwaseun was coming in, the place was ravished, cockroaches, bedbug, rodents, reptiles. Okay? At the same time, you have a golden house.
So who will rescue ASU?
Oh, ASU is rescuing itself.
How?
Yes, people are already taking moves here. Yes. And then the Omole whatever imposition is being thrown out.
Prof.Adegbola Akinola, thank you for speaking with Splash FM.
It's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for giving the opportunity to ventilate some of our thinking with you.
Thank you, sir.